Hello, my friends. Thank you for coming to play with the ideas I present on my channel. Have you ever seen the mandalas that form in water when musical tone is played near them? Um, they just form intricate but very different patterns. And there was a Japanese doctor, Emoto, who was the first one to be interested in the patterns that water make and how sentient the water seems to be. If you tape a word to it, like fear, it is different than the word love taped to a glass. And he then froze the water to see the pattern of how fear was different than love. And there's a woman in New Zealand who freezes a thin water in petri dishes that she places near a photograph and then freezes it. And the image actually, not exactly, but elements of the image come through in the frozen water. Quite interesting. So, how does this relate to emotion? My guides have always told me that emotion is how we navigate our life here. Emotion occurs before we have a thought about something. How we feel about something is more important to us than how we think about something. So let's put those two concepts together. Our body is what, 90% water? It's like I didn't research it, so I don't really know, but our body is mostly water. And this is the water planet, so pretty much everything has water here. And so the way that emotion is interpreted, the energy of emotion, I feel, is interpreted in the water in our cells. And that's why if you're doing something very creative or something that you're really excited about or something that you love, I've recently taken up sewing again. I used to love to sew, but I haven't in a very long time. And it was really fun to kind of remember how to sew. Another case of another little story that I want to share is I was sitting having coffee in front of the barn with a cat on my lap, and a robin came very close on a perch nearby, and he looked right at me, and the cat jumped down. The robin flew away. The robin almost came back immediately, looked right at me again. And I felt like the robin wanted something, that the robin was trying to convey something to me. And so I racked my brain. I thought, well, what could I do for the robin? And then I realized, oh, he wants me to open the back of the barn, those big doors, because they are nesting in the rafters closer to the back of the barn than the front of the barn. So another example of feeling is, I know that I've told you that we recently navigated this very difficult situation with somebody that we thought was a friend who just kept coming and dumping chaos and negativity on us. And we really felt like we'd lost our life. I mean, it's like, wait a minute, why do I feel like I'm living her life and not my life? Because I think that the coherence was get in ourselves was getting affected by the chaos and anger and complaining that she was doing. Her emotion was actually being transferred to our body. I really feel that strongly, and it's been a lot better, since we've gotten our life back. The other day, a my husband and I were outside talking, and he said, "Oh, you've got something on your shirt." And I looked down, and it was this giant pine borer bug. It's gray. It looks like an alien. It's like really creepy. And I like brushed it off. But I got to thinking, if the way that we navigate our experience is through emotion primarily, one of the reasons that we might fear insects is because they don't seem to have emotion, at least not in the way that we do. And it's much easier for us to interpret emotion in mammals because they're closer to us or more similar to us. I was thinking of my dogs. That's why I thought closer. They're always close by. So it may actually be why we fear not just insects, but tornadoes have no emotion. Floods have no emotion. Nature doesn't have an emotion in the way that the earth expresses itself. And aliens may or may not have emotion. We don't really know yet. Robots, artificial intelligence, perhaps it's the lack of emotion that makes us really fearful of some of these elements that we have to interact with here. Just a thought. Love to know what you think. So until I see you again, please be well and please be blessed. Thanks for coming.